Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where today we've come on a special adventure to document an incredible piece of British engineering, an incredible piece of Scottish engineering, and it is actually the Falkirk Wheel. We're down in the Falkirk area. Today we're joined by my old man and my brother here, AKR here, featuring in the video. Do you want to say hello to the video, folks?
Alright.
And look, there's a pink bus stop of all things next to it. And look, here is the Falkirk Wheel, look at it. Basically what this is, it used to be canals with locks and you had to go through the lock gates to raise up the height of water to get to the higher lock. And then they put this in, and it's basically like a massive boat lift. You go into the lower section and it rotates around, takes you up to the higher lock level, and then you can sail on to the higher canal. So at the time it was like at the forefront of technology. It's an incredible construction. So here we are today, folks, to see what we can see and document it for the first time on the channel. So yeah, let's get into action. Wow, check this out, folks. This is what it's all about. This here is the Falkirk Wheel, and actually right now there's a boat. There is a big boat up in the top of it, so we're going along to have a wee look. It's a mad construction. You can see how that kind of trough bit at the top is where the boat sits in, and then as this big wheel rotates, the boat section stays level as it comes round. So you would be able to put one boat in the bottom and then one at the top, so you can get maximum efficiency out of the unit. It's absolutely massive, eh? What a scene. We'll find out more information about it in a minute once we go in. Hey, look at some of the details. The size of the construction is just absolutely massive. It'll be cool to see it turning around, eh? And there is a boat in it, so I'm guessing there must be a way to go pretty soon. There must be steamboats going it, because look at the mark above the entranceway where the exhaust must hit it. Check it out, folks, it's now moving. We're actually witnessing the system operating here on the channel, which is incredible to see. We've just literally turned up at the right moment. Look at this, the lower section here is starting to come up. Because it's so well balanced, it takes a very low amount of power here to actually rotate it. Yeah, this is so cool, check it out. This whole section's obviously way to rise up past us. I'm just going to keep the camera rolling for this, folks. We're going to witness the Falkirk Wheel doing a full operational rotation here. Look at the size of these gears turning here with the motors. Wow, this is so cool to see, folks, eh?
Somebody had to time that.
Yeah, I know, it would be some amount of work. Look, here's the gate which holds the water in. Look at that, wow. You can kind of hear it creaking and crackling as it goes. As this all rotates around, it would be important to get the timing right on a thing like that for sure.
You wouldn't want to fall in there anyway.
Wow, this is a mad thing. Seeing something like this up close, operating like this. Absolutely incredible. Look, there's water running it below that seal. Wow, this is mad, folks. I never thought I'd be standing so close to this as it was operating. Look at it, we're right underneath it. Let's get a proper look here at the mechanism. Wow, yeah, look at it from here. Right now I can just hear it, the water dripping off everything. Look at it, wow. What a scene. What a mad bit of craftsmanship this is. Look at it, it's just so big. So this, folks, is the Falkirk Wheel, and it's mad to keep coming to things like this that we've never seen before on the channel. And this is quite a popular Scottish touristy thing. You can actually book tickets and you get to go on it onto the boat, and then you go up to the higher level and you do a full rotation of the ride. And that's what these folk will be doing on the little boat at the far side. Oh, think of the weight. Right now, balancing on those pivots. It's very futuristic. It's a futuristic looking device here. Wow. When you hear it creak it out, it's quite a scary.
Look at the weight though.
It's quite a scary thing.
Yeah, the weight though in that steel and that.
Oh, it's mad when you see the clouds
It's
moving
like
above it as well.
Head just a bit now.
It is. Wow, that was incredible to actually see it moving like this. We love big mechanical machines like this, folks, and good old British industry to build a massive thing like this. The design that went into it must have been incredible. The architecture and like the detail that would have had to be considered. Tons and tons and tons of steel, water. Even lifting that trough of water would be an extreme weight. And yeah, look, here's the boat coming down from the higher level. Archimedes, it says on it.
I think he just relies on the weight of the bottom water to lift the top to balance it, doesn't he?
Yeah. You would think if there was a boat in the bottom but not the top, it would be heavier,
Yeah,
and it
unless
would
they-
take more load.
Unless they change water out of it.
Yeah, they maybe ballast up the water to equalise the weight. That is incredible. Just think, a minute ago when we turned up, that was totally down here. And now look at it, it's almost done a full rotation. That must be the kind of like maintenance area and stuff down there. The boy probably goes down there with the grease gun, keeps everything lubricated. Wow, yeah, that is so cool. It's just about made the full rotation. Yeah, we just made it out in time, folks, to witness that. That was so cool. I'm sure one time on the Fred Dibnah show, when he was travelling the UK, he actually visited this. When he was travelling around on the steam engine, and he actually got a hurl onto this in an old vintage steamboat back in the day. And yeah, Fred Dibnah was a legend for going on stuff like this and documenting British industry with massive constructions like this. Even that section there is quite cool, the way they've built that. Originally, there was obviously a lot of locks here. That was the original way of getting up to the different heights. And there is actually an original lock down here that we'll go and take a look at in this video. So you get an idea of what was done before and then what's done now, basically. Wow, folks, what a scene on today's video. So check this out, folks, the Troch Bitty has now opened up and the boat's making its way out. And you can actually get tickets and go on a wee cruise here. It's a cool touristy thing to do if you're in Scotland. So any of my viewers, they should get, it's an idea of things to visit if you're in Scotland. Yeah, this is a madness. It's quite a quiet little boat, that. There is obviously various different boats, and I'm not sure if people store their boat here in this kind of marina area. So cool, folks. Look at it, folks, the boat's doing a handbrake turn here, and I think he's away to park up here, and then they collect the next lot of people to go on a hurl on the Falkirk Wheel. That's maybe been an old barge back in the day, and they've converted it. Obviously the canals were originally put in here over the lands of Great Britain for the successful empire and the transport of goods over the empire, whereas nowadays it's no needed. Most things brought places on trucks, because even the railways now is a thing of the past. The canals are a thing of the past, apart from mostly touristy folk or leisure vessels nowadays, whereas at one time it was fully industrial for the transport of coal or anything else over the land. It's proper mad, eh? The boys gaining some revs there to get it turned around. Anyway, let's head over and we'll have a quick look at this lock and see what's kicking about. So check this out, folks, this is actually an old lock, and this is what they used to use on the British canals for raising up the different heights. I believe this one isn't one of the original old ones, but this kind of gives you an idea of what would have been in an area like this back in the day. Sometimes, if it was a great height you were trying to climb, you would have to go through maybe like 10 different locks. Obviously you would put the boat in, close the gates, and then raise up the level of the water to the height of the next lock, and then you would open the gate into there, travel through, and then it would raise up even further to the next lock, and it's super interesting. Like, it's obviously the history of Great Britain, things like this were done. You can see, like, the lock gate is actually leaking the water through, pretty mental. It says 2001 on these gates, and I'm wondering, would that have been when the Falkirk Wheel was constructed?
It was around that time anyway. Yeah.
What a scene from this angle here, folks. The Falkirk Wheel. Absolute magic. And then down this side we've got the original canal waterways. Yeah, that's super cool to see. This is called the Falkirk Wheel Jubilee Lock. And there we are, folks. It's literally the first time we've documented this on the channel. I just love to see it. Oh, you can actually walk around that side as well. I can see there's some ducks and some things. Another interesting thing, folks, there's a brilliant cafe here, and I think we're going to head in for a cup of coffee and maybe a wee bite to eat as well. So this place actually opened in 2002, so it was constructed in 2001, and that makes sense with what's written on the wood there.
It was the first time the two canals have been connected since the 1930s.
Oh, aye, first time the two canals were connected since the 1930s, folks. AKR has got the history up here on his phone. It's interesting just to put that little bit of history on the video so you get an idea of when it was constructed, and you can kind of see it. The way it is constructed, it's of a modern architectural design compared to things built at a longer time ago. The whole project here, when it was built, folks, had a budget of £78 million, and then we can see what that was spent on today, and it is mad. That sort of thing being built, it's just incredible. It's like a one-off, and it's amazing to come here on this video, on this channel, and document it. So the Falkirk Wheel is actually built on the site of a former tar works, and its origins to the completion of the Union Canal in 1822.
It was the 1930s.
Oh, look, there's the locks in the 1930s, folks. That gives you an idea of what was there before the Falkirk Wheel was constructed. So check it out, folks, behind me here we've actually got an amazing cafe, and I've just been in. I had a Lauren and egg roll and a delicious cup of coffee, and yeah, shout out to all the staff and the people that work here. It was a delicious cuppa, the service was amazing, and yeah, I've just come back out to the side of the Falkirk Wheel here because it looks like it's a way to do another rotation with the latest vessel up in the massive chamber. Yeah, there it is, I can hear it starting to make noises. It is magic to see. I think they have to wait obviously on the wee flap closing on the end, and then that seals the water into the chamber, the bit where the boat sits. I call it a trough because it's like a big trough there. It's a very Scottish word. Anyway, folks, let's head on along. It's amazing because I can see down underneath there's like a big brake pad, and then there's emergency stop buttons. It must be scary if you're under there operating or working on things. Wow, it's incredible to see all these different gears. I can hear it making noises and groans. It is an interesting architectural design, folks. It's a lot more windy than it was earlier. When we first turned up, it was less windy. But yeah, you can see the architectural design. They've basically continued it along this lock area, or canal area I should say. Because of the modern construction, a lot of it's cement and concrete, whereas a lot of the old canal constructions back in the day was all the original stonework, back in the 1800s and times before it. When the Industrial Revolution was coming through Great Britain, yeah, stuff like canals was a key part of the British industry. Wow, I can hear water running. There's all kinds of noises coming from it. It's interesting. So apparently the amount of power required to give this a full rotation is actually less power than it takes to boil a kettle. So that's an interesting fact here about the operation of this. Here it goes, folks, it's starting to rotate. I'm going to actually step back a little bit further so we get a better view of it, or a different view. Wow, that is just incredible, folks. It's one of the biggest industrial structures that we've ever seen on the channel. And yeah, look, there's some big beam and stuff going through here. The construction is incredible. It's actually interesting to see it from this angle. Look, you can see it rising up at this back side here. Wow, and just think above my head right now, it's actually that waterway. Wow, this is cool to see it from here. Gives you another aspect of the construction, how it's made. Wow, absolutely massive. Yeah, it's cool to think because it's so well balanced. Obviously, that's how it uses a little amount of electricity, excuse me folks. But yeah, it uses a little amount of electricity because it's so well balanced. Once you start the rotation, it kind of just turns itself with little effort. Like, we've got an aeroplane coming over here. Yeah, there's loads of folk out with their cameras. Because I was over that side when it turned the last time, that's how I thought it's cool to come to here and just look at the structure from here. And like I say, it's worth looking up that Fred Dibnah episode on YouTube as well, when he goes on here in an old steamboat. Wow folks, that's real British engineering there at its finest. And it's interesting because it's not just a plain construction. You can see from this angle as well how the big gears on each of the water chambers is turned, locked with that other little gear to the centre gear. Super interesting. There must have been some mad mathematical equations done when this was built. Yeah, the water's actually running out of some of the lock gates at the end. Wow, I love to see it. It's always something different. Like I say, I love a variation of stuff on this channel. Historical items, not only abandoned historical items, but things like this. Rare, hardly seen, something unique. Only one of these in the world, and here it is in Scotland at Falkirk. And it is quite a height, it's probably like 100 foot, maybe more. Wow, this is just amazing. I keep saying wow, it's breathtaking. It's very futuristic in design and style. And it's so many bolts, it's not actually rivets on those big plates. It looks like so many bolts, individual bolts. Maybe back in the 1800s when they built stuff like that, it would have been rivets. Apparently that big centre shaft where it pivots, you could call it the axle, was actually made in Japan. There's nowhere in Britain at that time in the early 2000s that could make such a massive piece of metal. But the sad thing about it is, there's no place in Britain now that could make any piece of that metal. All the British steelworks and foundries are now shut down. So I've just been chilling on this little metal chair here folks, just in awe at the size of the structure. That's the wee boat now away to make its way out. And I can see it. The folk in the driver's compartment's got on masks, and I'm guessing it must be because of the exhaust fumes or something. Because they just literally put them on once they go into the wee tent bit at the back. Super cool folks, I'm glad I came down here today and to have a look at this. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity here. Something that you wouldn't see anywhere else around. A unique piece of engineering, and that's what we love on the channel. Documenting things that was done. We often see old water wheels and stuff at old farms and things. It's amazing over the years how humans control the water for their needs, for whatever they need. And here it was the need of transport. You can see the wee boat here doing another handbrake turn to get parked up to get the next load of tourists on board. Wow, yeah, it's impressive. Check this out folks, this is basically what the canal looks like. Once it goes up that bit that we saw a minute ago, it leads on to that area and then on to the Union Canal, which would then lead on into the Falkirk area So that gives you an idea, the overview of this area. And then the lower Forth and Clyde canals down here. So basically there used to be a lock set up all the way up here, and then they did away with it and put in the Falkirk Wheel there. And then the standard single lock that we saw is down at this height. So it's interesting just to see it from that perspective, from an aerial view. And then there's the famous Kelpies, a 4-mile walk. It's a bit far today down the side of that canal. Takes you to the massive Kelpies. Right folks, we're now heading out of this incredible location. It's been fun today to explore and to see what we've seen. I just bought myself a Harris tweed hat out of the gift shop there. You'll see that featuring in future videos. You can't get any more Scottish than a Harris tweed piece of clothing, folks. Anyway, yeah, it's been a fun adventure. Thanks very much for tuning in again to another fun video, and I'll be back soon with the next adventure wherever we go. But yeah, I'm ending it here. Goodbye from me, goodbye from family and friends featuring in today's video. We'll see you soon, folks.